YouTube, and I can't do as much on this as I can on Instagram. Sure cannot. But the microphone's on, so we will just have to wait and see if anyone comes to my live. Let's see. Kind of meta. Yeah. Nice hairy faced pilot. Good evening. Hello, my name is Darren. To my one person watching right now, if you have questions about being a pilot, fire away. Because I will promise you I'll answer every single question you have. Hello. Good evening. I decided I'm going to go live on one different network a week. So today's my YouTube day, and then tomorrow I'll do TikTok, and on Wednesday I will do Instagram if I'm home. Doing fairly well, then. Good evening. Hey, Trigger. Hey, Trigger, man. It's been a while. It is Monday at 6:22 p.m. Central Time, and I am working on my next video about Amsterdam. Right now it's 25 minutes long, but that's because I put all of my video I throw everything at the wall, and then I have to go in and cut it down. It'll probably be about 20 minutes long, and again, it should be up on Thursday. Saw your video about timing out. What happens if you time out while in the air? Great question. Hey, RMLP. So you can't time out in the air. Let's get a quick example. Let's say I'm an Airbus pilot still, right? And let's say I'm supposed to fly LA to Miami, call it 6 hours, and then Miami to Chicago, call it 2.5 hours. That's 8.5 hours total. I can do 9 hours for the day. Now, let's say we get to Miami right at 5.5 hours, or 6 hours. And we push back from the gate in Miami, and we have to hold for half an hour on the ground because of some weather. Then another half an hour. No, just half an hour. Just half an hour. We take off out of Miami, head towards Chicago. And then air traffic control says, hey guys, you have a new routing for Chicago. You have to go all the way over to Fort Worth before going up to Chicago for some airspace issues. Well, if we do that, we'll be over 9 hours. But as long as we don't land, we're okay. Bad example, but I got to Miami in 6 hours. I had 3 hours left. And now the new flight to Chicago, after I'm already off the ground, will take 3.5 hours. It's fine. But if we were given a new routing to Chicago and and then we got closer to Chicago and we had a hold, and now we're in the air for 9 hours and 20 minutes. If we're holding because they can't get into Chicago for some reason, and we land in like Moline, Illinois, then we're done. So once I touch the ground again, I'm done. But you can't really time out in the air. That's just a bad example off the top of my head. Worst part about YouTube is the comments are really small. You're my number one most enjoyed creator. Thank you very much, Irene. Hey, Sky High Aviation. Good evening, Brandon. With the new order of 321 XLRs, would you consider going back to the captain? I am going to go back to captain Airbus, probably next year. I did make a mistake. I looked the other day at my seniority, and I thought my seniority had gone up on the Airbus to the point where I'd be a line holder. I must have been looking at either bad data or looking at it incorrectly, because I looked with my wife this weekend and I'd still be on reserve as a Airbus captain right now. And that's not somewhere I want to be. Yes, it's more money, but I don't want to be a reserve captain on an airbody. It's a whole different airline over there. Yeah. So right now, as a captain on the Airbus in Dallas, I would absolutely be on reserve. I don't know where I was looking at one day that I saw I'd be a line holder. That's really weird. The nearest line holder to me, maybe it was last month. I'm about 15 numbers away from about 30 numbers away from being a line holder. Let me look at August. Maybe August was a weird month. Oh, it's being stupid. Come on. In August, I was more senior. So, yeah. If you are ferrying a plane, can a crew ride along if they want to go to the destination? Within reason, yes, but it's hard to do. What would you say is the entry hours to mainline these days? I have no idea. I'm not recruiting. Probably a couple thousand hours though. I had 7,000 hours when I came here. I enjoy the education. Thank you very much. Have you ever gotten reassigned? Well, at the airport. Oh yes, I've been reassigned many times at the airport. Many, many, many times. What happens? I mean, they can reassign me. It's part of our contract, right? I have been, yes, I've been reassigned multiple times in my career. I've been reassigned in the air, like coming, like Houston to Dallas, then going to Chicago, and then be reassigned to go to Las Vegas. Yeah. Um, After I landed, of course, in Dallas. Can you talk about maintenance or waivers? How does that work? Especially what can you fly away with? So I can't do that specifically because that involves my minimum equipment list for my airline, and I cannot use any kind of company documents in any video, including a live video. But the FAA and the manufacturer and the airline get together and go over every part of the airplane and say, you have 5 of these installed, you only have to have 3, or you have 2 of these installed, you don't have to have any of them installed. So it's on a piece by piece basis, and it's approved by the FAA. Could you go back to FL Airbody? I could go back to FL Airbody. Oh, someone's typing horrible things. Appreciate the transparency. Thank you very much. Hey, Darren, fairly new subscriber from down the road in San Antonio. I like San Antonio. You know what's funny? If you're from San Antonio, Ethan, the Six Flags there, Fiesta, Texas, is way better than Six Flags in Dallas because it used to be something else. I understand being captain on the Airbus is your plan because you have a ton of experience on it. But have you ever considered being a line holder on a different fleet in DFW? No, because I can't be a line holder on the 7.3. I refuse to fly 7.3. And I can't be a line holder on 7.8 either. So most common line holder schedule on the Airbus, 3-day trips, 4-day trips, probably 3-day trips. Thank you, Simple Takeoffs. Do you have any thoughts on the Boeing spacecraft issues? I know nothing about it except for what's on the news, right? It's unfortunate. I mean, I can't imagine going up for a 8-day trip and then saying, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be like 6 months." Like, who's feeding their pets? Who's watering their plants? Plus the whole kids and life thing and pay. Like, what is pay like? Vacation days. As a pilot building time, I have an opportunity to fly for Part 135 operator with 121 crew scheduling style. Would you recommend upgrading the captain there and applying to majors or go to regionals ASAP? So, great question, right? Um, if it's a safe airline, they're paying you well, they have good equipment, and you are happy there, you can go from that airline to mainline. You need a couple thousand hours to do it. So make sure it's somewhere where you actually want to be, not somewhere you're just checking boxes and waiting to leave. And why do I say that? Because what if the music stops again, right? Um, for example, Darren, I hate this airline, but I'm a captain. I'm getting my time. I'm going to mainline. I hate this whole operation, but I'm just going to get through it. Well, what happens if you're there and hiring stops for a while? Do you want to live your life hating where you're working? Right? So, versus going to a regional, again, I was a regional for 10 years. If it's somewhere you're happy, making good money, that's okay, in my opinion. But you can absolutely go from Part 135 to mainline. You will have to do job fairs and network. You can't just apply. That's just my opinion. The channel inspires me to pursue my dream career. Hey, thank you very much. I try to make it very easy and open, and I don't sugarcoat things. Hey, Darren, do you have any recommendation for foreigners trying to study to be pilot in the United States? Unfortunately, I do not. I know nothing about the foreign process at all. I'm sorry, I can't help you there. Morning from Scotland. I'm gonna go there. Love the videos. Sorry, you keep ending up in London. I know. I'm trying to go to Dublin, and I know Dublin is not Scotland, but I'm trying to go to Dublin. Thanks for the answer. You're very welcome, Landon. Thanks for being awesome. Hey, content. You're very welcome. I am who I am, right? Um, I'm a guy. I'm a dad who knows how to use technology and can kind of make videos, and that's why I do it. Favorite destination to fly to is Las Vegas, San Diego, and St. Martin. I've heard mixed things about the 737. I mean, if it's iconic for sure, but I've heard from a lot of pilots that it's not usually a pleasant experience. It is not. I have been in that jump seat for 4 hours before. It was a ride to where I was going. The 737 is a safe aircraft. It is not a comfortable aircraft. I would not be. if they told me I could be captain on the 737 or Airbus FO, I'd be Airbus FO. I do not want to go to work and be uncomfortable. I have flown transcons in the Airbus and been totally comfortable and relaxed, meaning New York to LA, Philly to LA, LA to Miami, right? If I'm going to spend 6, 7 hours somewhere, I want to be comfortable. And I am not comfortable in a 737, physically wise. Born and raised in DFW, prepping for my commercial, check ride, June 5777 for A one day. Hey, Nate, good luck on the lazy eights and chandels. I hate lazy eights and chandels. And I think it's because when I was doing my training going up, getting on my ratings and everything, I had very little single engine time because at the time at ACP where I went and did the self paced program, I did my private single engine, then my private multi instrument all at once, I believe, pretty sure, and then I flew the twin for a long time building, and I went back to the single engine after I got my initial CFI. So it'd been a couple, 150 hours since I've flown a single engine, and I was just not comfortable not playing very much. What did your salary progression look like? These crazy high training worries me. Yeah. So Sanjay, my very first paycheck is on my desk because that's who I am. Keep myself humble. Cover up my employee number. So my very first paycheck at American Eagle was $1,383.78. It's backwards. Like I can't turn it around on YouTube, but $1,300. This was November of 2007. $1,300 for a half a month paycheck. I make that in one day now. I'm not bragging. It is what it is. But it wasn't fast. I didn't make more than $40,000 a year until my 8th year as an airline pilot. Yeah, yeah. And then I upgraded to captain, and I went from 40,000 to 85,000, and then 90, and then it's been pretty steadily up since then. Longest flight I've done on a narrow is Lima, Peru to Dallas, about $3,000 miles. Aspiring pilot here, I've gotten accepted to UND, some others. I'm wondering what you think about 141. 141 is fine, Timmy. I did Part 61. No matter where you go and how you get there, you get the same piece of you get the same people are weird on the internet. You get the same piece of plastic from the FAA. So nowhere on this does it say 41, 141, or 61. Do what you think is best for you. I only caution you, I would not get a degree in aviation and all your pilot certificates. And here's my personal reason why as a guy. Let's say you go to UND, you get all your ratings, you get a Bachelor of Science in Aviation Maintenance, something, right? I don't know. And you're all happy. And you leave college, you're like, I am awesome. I did it. And then you get home and they say, hey, aviation took a dump. No one's hiring anywhere. In fact, we're furloughing. And you look down and you have this brand new degree and brand new diploma and all these shiny certificates in aviation. And aviation isn't hiring. What are you going to do to support yourself and make money? That's my dad talking, right? Uh, Again, UND's a fine school, and I'm just a guy, and I'm not saying I am right. I'm just giving you a different viewpoint. Have a skill or get a degree in something you enjoy or something you can make money at, not aviation related. Because if aviation takes a dump, you have a degree and certificates in aviation, and what you got to do to pay the bills. YouTube Live, hello from TikTok. Yeah, I only do once a week. Hey, I found you. Have you found any pilot and also a content creator? I have not. There's a few at my airline, but not very big professional. Like they don't do the same kind of content I do. Some of them just do some small funny videos. I've kind of gone away from the funny video thing, even though I like making funny videos, and to more of this day in the life of this is my job kind of thing. Again, there's nothing wrong with funny videos. I started my social media on TikTok with funny videos, but I've gone into more maybe one video a month maybe. But no, there's very few of us out there. It's very difficult to be a content creator and an airline pilot because we cannot use anything from the airline in any of our videos. And my airline absolutely does watch everything I do. I miss Brazil, by the way. I haven't been to Brazil, but I do want to go to Brazil. Any advice on self-paced training versus integrated ATP training? So I did self-paced. I did all self-paced. I went to train 3 days a week. I did everything in a year. If you are pretty hard on yourself, and can push and motivate yourself, self-paced is fine because life happened, right? I couldn't afford to quit my job and go learn how to be a pilot. I had to work through my whole training. So if you can find somewhere that going to work with your schedule, I think self-paced could be a little bit better. Because again, I'm not that intelligent. I'm an average intelligence. I need a little extra time. I'll admit it. Good explanation. I'm currently a ramp supervisor for a said company, so I know the ups and downs of the airline industry. They do. Yeah, and flow is great. Flow is also great, but you can always beat your flow date, right? I am exceptionally average, and I was able to beat my flow date by a year. How? Job fairs. You're very welcome, Thomas. What are your thoughts on going to ATP or going to a Part 61 school? I know nothing about any current flight school. I left the flight training environment 17 years ago. Here's what I will say. ATP is a fine school. They know what they're doing, right? But visit at least 3 flight schools. And this one might take you 2 months to do. But find 3 different flight schools. And ATP is fine. Find maybe a little bit of a smaller school. And then find one that you think is sketchy. They have a learn to fly banner outside and 2 airplanes. You go there too, and you interview and you take a tour and see what they have to offer. That might be the best option is a mom and pop school or just a mom. A lady retired from the airlines, loves teaching, and she's a CFI, owns her own airplane. And she will teach you at your pace. But 2 or 3 schools and see which one fits best for you. Airlines do not care where you learn to fly. Hey, Lazy Eights, love Chandel. Couldn't do either one of those. When you say you're not comfortable, does that mean cockpit is cramped? Cockpit is very cramped. In the Airbus, I can stand up and walk around. I can stretch. I can move around. In the flight deck of a 737, you cannot stand up. No, you can't stand up. What was the second paycheck? Oh, the same. Yeah, it was. I got crap money. I made $24,000 a year my first year as an airline pilot. $24,000 my first year as an airline pilot. Crap money. Last question for me. Thank you for. Do you non-rev Z flights have an impact on my taxes? They do not. They do not. Does YouTube pay good with aviation content? I get about $350 a month. Again, I'm small, and all the money I get from YouTube goes into my content creation. So this microphone was a whole month of YouTube. For 707, San Francisco, Chicago. Hate it. Best single. Dodd. Oh, best single. Aisle is 321. Yeah, as you know, the Airbus aisle is more wide as well. Hey, Darren, love your videos. Just passed my commercial single-engine, multi-engine rides in the past few months, and I'm working on CFI now. Do you have any tips for future instructor? Nick, I hope you were in Memphis last week. If not, Nick, go to the next aviation conference. I don't care, Nick, if you only have 300 hours. Aviation conferences can help your career even when you're low time, even if you're no time. You have never touched an airplane, but you live in Florida or Palm Springs. Guess what? They have aviation conferences there quite often. Go to an aviation conference, even for one day. I cannot stress to you how even going with no time, you've never touched an airplane, can help your career in the long run. It's absolutely worth it. Always look forward to your videos. Thank you. Hey, thank you very much. New one on Thursday. Got my instrument ride tomorrow. Any tips? Hey, if you're still here, here's one tip for you. When you're doing your non-precision approach, if MDA is 840 feet, go down to 850 and then add in some nose up trim, just a little bit. So your arm is forced to push down to 840, right? And hold 840. But have it a little bit of nose up trim so when you get nervous and relax, your nose goes up a little bit and not down a little bit. Because if 840 is MDA, you can't go below 840. You can go to 845. You can go to 850 just fine and you're safe. But you can't go to 840. Also, as you're doing these approaches, you probably practice the same approach 10,000 times and brief every approach as though you've never seen it. When I shoot approaches, it's down the hall. Oh, yeah, it's right here. So this is my work EFB, right? That's all my approach plates on here. I have landed in DFW well over 1,000 times. I still look at every approach plate as though I have never seen it. No expectation bias, especially now with the digital age. Approach charts change, right? So look at every approach as though you have never seen it. And if you're not ready for the approach, say, hey, I need to turn and hold. Never in my 11,000 hours of flight time have I ever been pressured to start an approach. I start it when I'm ready. Good luck to you. You got this. A student pilot now, midlife. My dream is to fly over the Pacific. Yeah, I mean, on both sides. Wide body captain is probably not obtainable. Yeah, it's obtainable. There are. And dude, pilot since I, there are many FOs at my airline that can hold wide body captain. The top wide body FOs are in the three digits. Like the number, I think the top one, I'm going to look it up right now because Dallas is very senior. Give me a second here. DFW FO 777. The number one pilot in my status is seniority in the 400 range. They could be a line holding captain on a 777. In fact, the top 20, no, more than that, top 30 pilots, top 30 FOs on the wide body in Dallas alone could all hold captain on the 777. Love the channel. Do you prefer the long haul over a? Nah, I actually prefer domestic over long haul. I mean, a short haul over long haul. I miss landing. The narrow body, I would land 2, sometimes 3 times a day. On the, maybe like twice a day, to be honest. Regional, I did 3 times a day, but I miss landing. Weekly. I flew to Amsterdam last week. I didn't land. You know, I miss landing more, and part of it is my seniority, and part of it is just the nature of the beast, right? On a 777, we'll fly one long flight, land, one long flight, land, and we go home. On the narrow body, you might fly 3 flights in one day, 8 flights over a 3-day trip. So you do a lot more takeoff and landings, and I like flying. I love flying, and the wide body stuff. I'm balancing the low stress, much more time at home, much more free time to I don't fly very much, and I actually like flying. I miss flying, and so it's a thing in my head right now, trying to work it out. What I want to do? What I want to do for the time being. La 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 la. No worries. Thank you very much for the content. How long do you think the time building after complete training will take? 1,500 hours is all you need probably for regionals. I think they'll get a little bit more tightened, but you know, 1,500 hours is the minimum, and I think anywhere around there, you'll get calls for interviews. As far as getting a class date, we'll have to see how it shakes out in January when stuff restarts again. Sorry, when hiring restarts again. And I do answer every question. No offense, what race am I? I am mostly African American, but I have some white and Hispanic in me. Is meteorology a good backup degree? It could be. 77 versus 777. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on how fun it is to fly each plane. Never flown a 787. I think it's pretty nice though. Didn't you major in comedy? Ha ha ha! I majored in journalism. Did pass management check ride 2 days ago. Go to ATP. Also, hey, pilot Ty, knuckles to you. Congratulations, sir. The other day, I asked you about the DFW Buenos Aires, Argentina flight announced for the fall, and you answered that you're unlikely to get that flight. Why is that? I don't think they're doing that on the 777. If it is, it could happen. I say I'm unlikely to get it because if it's a highly productive trip, then it goes senior. For example, most of our trips are 3 days long. Hawaii trip is 16 hours there and back, right? Over 3 days. Versus a London is 19 hours there and back. A Frankfurt is about 20 hours there and back. A Rome is 22 hours there and back. So if it's a highly productive trip, it tends to go senior. Plus, if it's not London, it goes senior as well in my base. La 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 la. FYI, ATP Part 61? Yes. And they are very expensive. Hey, Darren, love your content. Just wondering if you enjoyed. I love Lima. Yes, I walked around the Miraflores area quite a bit. I made some Lima videos on my TikTok, and I think about a lot of my content I've shot over the last 4 years. It's all up and down. It's all portrait, not landscapes. It's hard for me to reuse it on YouTube. Nope, HPS is 61. I did not go to OBAP. I was working those days. So you made $24,000 year one. What can a new pilot today expect? I think starting pay right now is about $90,000 a year. If you go to like airlinepilotcentral.com, airlinepilotcentral.com. Click on airline profiles, regional, scroll down, and when you see the hourly rate, generally speaking, I've never made less than my hourly rate times 1,000 for your annual pay. But ATP in Tucson, Arizona. I like Tucson, Arizona. Any thoughts on training at an uncontrolled versus controlled airport? I think uncontrolled could be a little bit easier. You have more time in the air. You're not wasting so much time. Of course, you'll have to go to a controlled airport for some practice, right? They both have the same level of safety, in my opinion. Hey, I love your stuff. As a mature adult who couldn't fly commercial because of red green deficiency, and that our 10% are like that, wouldn't a different test be better? Yeah, and I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe you can do a statement of demonstrated ability, a SOTA, to be an airline pilot with red green color blindness, but don't quote me on that. But I think you still can do it. What can I find an aviation conference near me? Literally Google aviation conference near me. I'm not being funny. But OBAP, Women in Aviation, National Gay Pilot Association, Latin Pilot Association, RTAG, there's a ton of them out there. LPA is September 12th or 13th. See, LPA. I say LAPA, but Latin Pilot Association. It's Latin LPA. Thank you very much. Darren, thanks for the kind words this morning on Insta. Dude, you're very welcome, mate, dude. A nice job passing your private. To all the aspiring pilots in here, networking is key. It is key. That's why I keep telling people to go to these aviation conferences. So many airline pilots get their jobs from these aviation conferences, and not from the meet and greets, but from the social events later on and in the hallways. Yeah, it's who you know. It is absolutely who you know. I now have 14 captains who are ready to recommend me once I get the hours. Exactly. Student pilots struggling to trim the plane. Thoughts? Takes time, James. It's like driving a car, right? It takes time. Less is more. Less is more. So when you're trimming, put it a little bit in and see what happens. Don't keep fighting it. Put a little in and just see. And you just gotta get that. You gotta get that feeling in there. I learned quickly on the 777. Woo! Quickly on 777, less is more. As far as it's very easy to over control a 777, and I was told less is more. As I learned it from. Even hanging out in the FBOs, yes, you never know. Again, a good point there, man. Never assume you might be in an FBO, a fixed base operator. You might be at some Podunk Airport in Garden City, Kansas, and see this ratty old 152 roll in, thinking that guy's broke. Oh, look at that airplane. That guy could be the hiring manager for Delta Airlines. Never make assumptions in this industry. And this industry is extremely small. My former student, when I was CFI, is a check airman at my airline. He's senior to me, and he was on my fleet. He's an Airbus check airman. Airbus check airman. I was a CFI 17 years ago. Yeah. Hey, Darren, I want to thank you for these amazing videos. Do you have any insight on foreigners joining the majors of the United States? Unfortunately, I don't, and I can't help you there at all. But thank you for the kind words. Hey, from remote Australia. I do want to go to Australia. Do you only wear an Apple Watch, or do you have any? I do have two other watches. I have a Pixel Watch, as I haven't wear it very much lately. I'm on my new Pixel 9 phone, so maybe I'll start wearing my Pixel Watch again. I'm not a watch buff though. Jump back in some GA flying one day. If you wanted to right now, could you hold Airbus captain? I can. Are you able to remain in FO? I can remain in FO for the rest of my career, and there's many people who do that, by the way, because you can make more money as there are 777 first officers that make more money than 777 captains. There's games you can play. Do you have the flexibility to pick up out of base trips on the 777? I had the flexibility. I don't have the seniority. Gonna have an awesome wife, but I'm not that adventurous to pick up an LA trip because I had to get myself there, right? If I pick up an LA, say an LA London trip, I have to be a commuter to go to LA on my own and get there in time for the trip. Then after the trip, I have to commute back home. It's not me. It's not for me. Darren, as a truck driver, making six figures, but gone 5 days out on the week. What's new pilot's home time like? Hold on. Still in the waiting room. Ugh, my silly kid cooking dinner and burned your hand a little bit. Um, so new pilots, you typically three on, well, four to five on and three or so off. So if you live in base, it's great. And when I say on, you're just on reserve. You're on call. You might not be called. And if you live where you're based, you can be home a lot, quite a bit. And truck driving, by the way, is incredibly difficult. And I used to drive a school bus, and so I'm always like flashing my guy lights at you. Like I'm always slowing down traffic to let you guys merge in. And I can't stand when idiots pull in front of you, because idiots have no idea how much it takes to stop that giant truck, and how that giant truck can't see the little piece of crap Honda Civic that's pulling out in front of them. Um, Sorry, texting my wife. Leprechaun, thank you very much for everything. Hey, thank you, Pilot Sensei. What's your beef with Charlotte? It's a horrible ramp and it's horribly designed. It's a regional airport doing mainline purpose. Is it true at your airline the pilots have to eat different meals from each other? It's not true anymore. Darren, which part of the country do you live in? I live in the Dallas Fort Worth area. What's been your favorite approach you've flown to Tegucigalpa, Honduras, the old airport? Do you enjoy flying non-rev on your time off? I used to a lot before we had kids. Uh, I used to once a year take a trip to a country for a day. Last year, I went to Amsterdam for a day. Year before that, I went to Madrid for a day. That's fun. Taking you to a backpack, seeing what's open, and going somewhere for a day. Business class to and from. If you were to choose another base besides Dallas, what would it be? I have kids, right? So I think about schools. God, I hate to say Charlotte. No, I wouldn't be Charlotte. Probably LA, I guess. Can current pilots recommend a new one to their airline? No, we can. We can. Any tips for overcoming jet lag on long haul trips? Yeah, I take a nap when I get there right away, no matter where I am, and then I quickly get sunlight on my face. We typically arrive in the morning, I take a nap for 3 hours, and I quickly go outside and get sunlight on my face. Helps a whole lot. La 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 la. Got that. Thanks for the hello. Hey from Frisco. It's just busy up there. Quick. I'm 51 years old. Is it even feasible to consider changing careers at this point? Is it worth the risk? I'm an AV geek with a PPE license. So you're 51. Let's talk about it. I'm assuming you're 51. You have like 110 hours. So you have 1,400 hours to go. Um, if you can get all your ratings in the next 2 years, which you probably could, so now you're 53, and your hours in the next 2 years. Let's say you're 54. You're 54. You can easily go to a regional and retire a regional captain at 65, just fine. Or you can go to regional at 54. You'll be a captain by the time you're 57, 3 years, being honest. And then by the time you're 60, you can make a choice. You're a 60-year-old captain, right? Do you want to jump to mainline or stay where you are, those weekends off, holidays off, still making six figures? You can go to mainline and probably have to retire a near body FO. Still making good money. And you'll still get your ROI. You still get your investment back. It's very doable. How much do you think simulator help or translate skills to real flight? For private, zero. For instrument, a lot. But for private, I tell everyone, never use a flight sim if you are still working on your private rating. You will transfer bad habits. When you're in the Airbus, do you prefer short term or long trips, 3 hours? Take home pay last year was $350. Will you be able to hold a line as an Airbus captain? Not quite yet in Dallas. Can you make a video to help people understand or not to be afraid of flying? Different sound, the turbulence. That's not really my thing. That's not really about my core content kind of thing. Ben flying for a living made a video I think on TikTok about that. Considering the first class meals seem to be pretty hefty quantity, and pilots usually have first class food while flying. You just eat main course or all the entrees and desserts too. I don't eat very much at all anymore. I've been on semaglutide since January. Some people eat the whole things. I don't. Airplane food is fine, but it's really salty, so I don't eat a whole lot of airplane food. If you're interested in getting back in the air, GA, you're welcome to come fly with me in Oakland. One day I'll get back in GA. I'm opening up a root beer. How long is it reasonable to go from 0 to the regionals? About 3 years. Darren, happy to see you on the tube. Thank you. Look up above. Are you able to check into your hotel in the morning when flying into your? Oh yeah, good question, dude. Good question, by the way. Airlines arrange your hotels for us. If I arrive, and I often arrive in London at 8 a.m., we check in at 8 a.m. Oh, when we get to the hotel. So we don't have the normal check-in, check-out times. We check in when we want to and check out when we want to. Great question. I worked for a major airline in crew ops for a bit. We had a 60-year-old come into the new hire class, enjoyed his last 2 years. There you go. I do try to answer every question. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the answer. You're very welcome, Jay. Worst turbulence I've ever experienced in the air? Nothing that crazy. It's been moderate chop at best. Moderate. I mean, I've been bounced around quite a bit like this for like 30 seconds, and it goes away. Most turbulence is very transitory. We can normally either hear about it, or if we get into it, we can get out of it by changing altitudes. But nothing like I've never had anyone injured in my plane from turbulence, thankfully. We have really good apps nowadays. It's an airline app. You cannot have it. It's called SkyPath, where it's come on. It shows live turbulence. So as we fly around, all these planes, well, I get over the United States anyway. So all those yellow dots you see are live turbulence being reported by airplanes, and I can click on any airplane, and like right here is United 1922 as going from Denver to XNA, and they're reporting turbulence. You can't have this app, so we can see it nowadays much better than we could back a couple years ago. When does a new FO get paid on the 777 at your company? We get paid the new rate on our effective data training. So yeah, on the effective data training. Now that's for the new aircraft. Same for when I upgraded captain. I believe it is when my effective date for training here. $8,000. We start much higher than that. But you guys have Tim Hortons. What's the hardest part? Check ride, in my opinion. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. This microphone is muted. God darn it. Muted, and I just saw the red light there. Oh, I feel so silly. 1 second. I need to have a moderator to tell me that. Crap. So first class is very good. Take home pay was $350 last year. Hopefully the 51-year-old got the answer. GA flying. This red light tells me I'm muted. I should not touch this stupid microphone. Check in. We can check in hotels any time of day. 8 a.m., 10 a.m. It doesn't matter. We check in when we get there. Airlines do it all for us. Turbulence, never been that bad. We have an airline app that says turbulence for us, and it shows us the actual turbulence that we see in the sky. It's called SkyPath. You cannot have this app. New 777 FO. My airline gets the 777 pay on the day of effective data training. Hard check ride is private, CFI, and first airline gig. Private, you had no idea what to expect. First airline gig, CFI is a hard check ride, and then airlines first hard check ride there too. Phoenix 777 route is DFW LA pilots. I was a CFI. I was a Gold Seal CFI. Sorry, when check. Choose what regional. The flow is important, but it's a backup plan. So if you can't get hired on your own, then you flow. I grew up in the Southern Africa. Never had a root beer till last summer when I moved to the U.S. to study. I believe root beer tastes like toothpaste in a can. It tastes good cold. Is there a specific passenger or cargo aircraft that you'd like to fly? Airbus 350, Honda Jet. Hello from Dublin, Ireland. Any words of wisdom or motivation? Finished commercial training 2.5 years ago. So looking for a first job in Europe. I heard it's hard to get a job in Europe. Do you have job fairs over there and networking? I have no idea how that works over there. You just like beaches, same way I feel about swimming pools. I hate any bodies of water. I don't like bodies of water because they're nature's toilet. I will go 787 if I could hold it, but I cannot hold 787. I'm too junior in Dallas. I got to the muted part. Someone who only flies 172s, lower than 6,000 feet. So why can't you have the app? Why can't you have this app called SkyPath? Because the airlines pay for it, and that's why. I only see United and American on here, and I'm unmuted. Unmuted. I gotta figure out some moderators. So I'm so sorry about the muted thing. It's a bright red light. You think I see a bright red light? Hope I got to your question correctly. All right, I feel so embarrassed. I am not a professional streamer, by the way. Will you consider doing LASIK? Nope, because I don't trust lasers that way. My eyes are my job, right? If there's a mistake, I can't do my job anymore. Glasses work just fine. No, thank you. I'll never fly cargo. I will never fly cargo. I like people. I miss people, by the way. On the narrow body, like on the Airbus, I didn't think I missed this, but on the Airbus, I could talk to passengers as they boarded. On the 777, I never see them anymore. I see the first couple rows of first class, and that's all I see. I never considered cargo. Not once, not for a second. Is it hard to travel non-rev as a whole family, getting tickets for everyone on the same flight? It can be hard. My kids are a little older now, so they can sit by themselves. In the beginning, when they're really young, it was hard getting seats all together. Am I slow, or is this your first YouTube stream? It's my second one. It's my second one. Is it wise to fly? Avoid Max 7 models? No, that's super fine. When airline pilots are forced to retire at age 65, do they go fly corporate? Some do. That ain't gonna be me. By the time I retire at 65, I'll have been flying for 35 years. I'll be done. My plan is to travel the world with my wife. That's my plan. Again, nothing wrong with going flying corporate, but I want to retire on my own accord. I don't want someone. I'll probably retire before I'm 65, but I want to retire on my own accord and then enjoy my retirement. I don't want to keep working. What do you think made you stand out on your application and my current position? Oh no, Scott, it was job fairs, man. It was job fairs. Like, I borderline stalked a recruiter. He never called the cops on me, but I was continuously updating him on my progress professionally. I know it was him and nothing else because he told me on a Wednesday I was ready. I got the invite 2 days later. I took his and other people's advice and improved myself and made myself what needs to the level I upgraded myself to the level I need to be at a major airline, mainline, right? I was a hungry regional pilot saying, hire me, hire me, hire me. Why? Because I love flying and I like flying and I'm safe. And I've always dreamed of flying a 777 to Europe one day and I want to be just like you. That is not the answer to get a job at mainline. That's the answer I gave when I first went to my first job fair. I had to improve myself. That's how I did it. Airline overnight in Rome, cargo overnight in a city that you've never heard of and don't want to hear of. That's how I see it. True, but I like to talk to people. And here's another reason I wanted to fly airline versus cargo, or passenger versus cargo. My kids and my wife can travel non-rev on my airline. Yes, if you've worked for FedEx, you can do Z. That's super low priority non-rev. My wife and kids can go to the airport, DFW, pick a flight, and go stand by and go on that flight. We can see how many seats are open on every single flight. And we've taken flights before to places that we just could get to. Like we flew to Mall of America. We flew to Minneapolis a couple years ago. Flights were open, so they got to go to the Mall of America for a couple days. If you fly cargo, you can't do that as easily. Um, we went to London last year. Last year in November, right for Thanksgiving. We all came back. We got 3 first class seats. Sorry, 3 first class suites on 777-300. They're not having to fly for cargo. Eric, you're flying for a ferry company? That's not me. I'm a super idiot at all. Now you have to tell us how we can improve ourselves to have our legacy. You gotta go to job fairs. Would you ever become a check airman? One day. I do love teaching. I love teaching. Yes. Have you tried Ozempic? I've tried the Wegovy because I'm not. Wegovy is the person. Ozempic, I believe, is for people with diabetes. I'm on the other one. Yeah, I've been taking Wegovy since January, down 40 pounds. I have a video about that at some point. It is FAA approved. What is a destination you haven't visited yet on 777 that you look forward to? Australia, South America, and China. La 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 la. Sorry, texting my wife. Okay. La 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 la. Does Dallas have any Airbus wide body? Nope, we have no Airbus wide bodies. No, all we have is 777 here. Yes, I travel Z, but myself, yes. I was flying from Denver to Pitt, and I was number 4 on standby list. Flight before mine got canceled, and I went down to number 67. There you go. Again, nothing wrong with cargo. Cargo is cool. It's just not for me. Dropping out. Thanks. You're very welcome. Sweet. Got to the end. Okay, my name is Darren. I am a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. I make videos about aviation because I love aviation so much. I put out one long video a week on YouTube, typically on Thursdays. This week will be about Amsterdam. I have other videos I'm working on that are not trip related. One on pilot weight loss because it's easy to be fat in a pilot. Another one's on comparing my month as a junior 777 pilot to my month as a senior Airbus FO, like month per month, like comparing August of this year to August of last year, seeing how much I worked on the 777 versus on the Airbus, how many nights I was in the hotel, how many hours I worked, and that kind of thing. 777 is much less, but again, it is less money. It's less money than being an Airbus captain. I'm making about the same amount of money I made as an Airbus FO, but yeah. Almost done. I did have a choice between the 787 and 777. I'm sorry. Wait, why did your company get rid of 330s? I have no idea. It was here. I bid for it there in Dallas. So I did bid the 787 in Dallas. I can't hold my seniority. I can hold the 787 in another base. Myself, I will not commute for an airplane. It's not what I want to do. So I bid 787 Dallas and then 777 Dallas. And my seniority can only hold the 777 in Dallas. I think even last time I looked, I can look right now. I think even right now, I still can't hold 787. Let's see. Just now, I could hold 787. But I'm seat locked into 777. So that's unfortunate. But I'm much higher seniority on this 777 than I am on 787. So there's that as well. Got rid of the Airbus wide bodies in 2020. Yes, they did. Hey, I love your videos. I have to go. Hey, thank you very much, MMD. How difficult are class 1 medicals to pass? If you're of average health, you're fine. Eyes, ears, a lot of it's your medical history. So if you're of average health and haven't had any mental health diagnosis, all your limbs, you can see fairly well with glasses, average heartbeat, average blood pressure, that kind of thing, you're fine. A lot of it has to do with your medical history. Hey, Brad. Is it hard for a new older pilot to be hired at an airline, for example, a new pilot in their 50s? That's not hard at all. Other videos, keep them coming. Favorite meal on a plane? I don't like. I'm not a food person, to be honest. Uh, mm, I am not a food. Anything in any kind of Indian food. I've decided just tonight I'm gonna go live on a different social network uh, once a week. So tonight's my YouTube night, and then tomorrow, the next night, I would go live on TikTok, and the next night I'll go live on Instagram. Biggest eye openers when you first started flying on the line? Things you expected turned out to be quite the opposite. Uh, Let me my last one. What happens if you're a captain? They retire your aircraft. You get displaced. Any thoughts about the fear some pilots feel about mental health treatment? That's a touchy subject, but the FAA needs to reform their mental health stuff. It's way ancient. As far as stuff I was surprised by, how much time I spend alone, especially at the regionals. Mainline, it's mostly me and the captain. The flight attendant, I very rarely interact with because on the wide body, we stay at the same hotel. On the narrow bodies, we often didn't because we were on different schedules, meaning I fly Dallas to Atlanta, and the next day I fly to Miami, and they're flying to LA. So they go to one hotel because they're staying a short overnight, and we're going to a different hotel because we're doing a long overnight. So we go to different hotels. So on the narrow body, I'll fly flight attendants for one leg, I would never see them again. So it's just me and the captain going to the hotel. And even now, I'm 47. The captain might be 38, or it could be 62, and got a lot in common. So sometimes we go to dinner together. But otherwise, I have learned to explore on my own. I have no problems going to dinner by myself, going to a movie by myself, exploring a city by myself, and I used to not be that way. But I have learned that I don't mind doing my own thing. It can be quite lonely, especially when you're first starting out flying and you're flying for a regional, and you're in Grand Island, Nebraska, at the Holiday Inn, and you're there for 30 hours. It can be kind of lonely. So gotta find your own fun. Good books, video games, or even exploring a new city. There can be some fun to be had in Grand Island, Nebraska. You can try the chili and the cinnamon rolls. It's a thing. Sweet. You guys have a good night. I will be live probably on Instagram or TikTok tomorrow. Thanks for your support. I truly appreciate your support, by the way. I don't do this for the clout or I'm never going to sell you anything. I do it to help people learn about aviation. If you have questions about aviation, you can probably message me on Instagram, to be honest. I do answer every single direct message. Don't just say hi. Please don't just say hi. Say, hi, Darren, and list your questions out. If you just say hi, I'm going to ignore your message. Or you can email me the old fashioned way. It's just my name, Darren@darrenbyrd.com. Again, give me a week to get back to you, but I do respond to every single DM. Have a fabulous evening.